Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out Indoorlands. I recently went to the Mall of America and went to the Nickelodeon universe there and kind of got a little bit jazzed about indoor parks, so I decided to give this game a try a couple of days ago, and I was a little bit taken aback by how much you actually could do with it. I bought this one quite some time ago, basically right when it came out, and I didn't really think that you could do much with it. It kind of seemed like I don't know, a lesser version of Planet Coaster, and I didn't really like the kind of customization that you can do with it. But I was looking at some of the pre-made blueprints they have in there, and I got pretty interested in what could be done with this. So let's just take a look at these real quick. So if we go into the blueprints here, we've got something like a coaster apocalypse, and that is honestly such a cool designed area. I wouldn't think that you could do something like this in this game. So I decided, why not? Let's just see how this game goes. Okay, so now we're here inside the hall. Let's start off with the classic of any indoor theme park, and that is a spinning ride. I always like to make sure that it's just as big as it can be. Don't need to be dealing with lower capacity. This is one thing that I am not a fan of. I know that some people like this, but I just am not really into the whole wet noodle coaster track placements, fix it kind of later type thing. It's just not for me, but that's okay. Let's just try and play the game without thinking too much about it. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to go for a straight spike, which I think could be pretty interesting, and more reasons why I don't really like this whole wet noodle design. Okay, I need to alter it. We need to start curving sooner than we are. It really does. It feels like you're trying to put a wet noodle inside of like hole, basically. Okay, so that looks good there. I like the control that I get with games like Planet Coaster or even No Limits, but you do what you can do, and that's this. The coaster mechanics of this aren't really what you come to play it anyway. So let's move that in a little bit. And the more I actually use it, the more I kind of feel okay about it. Still not my favorite, but I get a little bit better at it. I do like the switchy buttons here. That's pretty nice. That does make it a little bit easier to do what I want to do, but you always get weird curves like this one here where it's like like where it swoops around, and I don't know, it just doesn't really look nice and smooth, and I suppose that I could smooth it out later. I don't know. Okay, I am going to, what should we do with this next? I think going right into a loop off of a launched hill. You know what? Let's do this. Let's raise this up a little bit. Move it back a little. And we're going to do... Oh, not that. We're going to do a... What do you call this? I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's something basically like a reverse loop, more or less. And this thing really does like to throw you for a loop on how much you can adjust the angles. It's honestly kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it really likes to give you that the old janky loop there. Yeah, that looks absolutely awful. Could you imagine riding on that and you come up to the top there and it's just oh gosh, that hurts my back just looking at it. Okay. Let's see. This isn't exactly what I had in mind, but you know, actually, it's kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Let's lower this down a little bit, and then we'll lower this down, maybe. Okay, you know what? I shouldn't have done anything. I should have just let well enough be alone. Oh no! Now we're in it here. Now we're in it. Oh, it was so much smoother before I did anything. Never. I mean, just look at this. That would probably murder someone. Honestly, like they would legitimately die. Okay, we are just. Whoa! Look at this. That's one heck of an element right there. Ow. Does it? Does it just like go back? Okay, yeah, it did go a little bit backwards. Oh my gosh, the wet noodle. The wet noodle. It gets you. It gets you. Okay. Now we do have some decisions to make here. So after our wacky element here, gosh, what is that? What is that even going to be like? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I think, gosh, man. I didn't know that you can add a little piece of track. That kind of makes it better. Maybe. Okay, let's curve this a little bit. And we like that. So let's raise this. Let's raise this roof a little bit. Okay, let's bring it back down. I wonder if people that play this game more, if they turn off the automatic curve. I am wondering if that is kind of what's killing me here. I could believe it. Maybe I should give a playthrough watch or something like that. Okay, so let's envision that. You come up, you come around. This probably doesn't need to curve that direction. Well, it does. So, gosh. This must be super engaging content, me just sitting here wandering around like an idiot. Like, how do I play this game, huh? You don't know. But, you know what? We're here for the lulz, everyone. We are here for the lulz. Well, you know, you do what you can do, right? I've never really done anything like this, and I don't really know what I'm doing. But you know, here's a little life lesson for everyone. If you don't ever try, you'll never know how to do any better. You know, that's just all there is to it. So I wanted to try and see if I could make something that people would actually want to watch. So I'm doing it. I am doing it. There are way too many pieces there now. You know, that's actually kind of cool. So if you were on a spinning coaster and you went around the bend, you went around up and kind of went all the way up there, and then you peaked at a top there, and then you kind of went in this crazy curve. You know, I actually think that would be kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I am not going to lie. I am kind of digging it. Yeah. You know what? What is it that Bob Ross says, right? The happy little accidents? Let's call that a happy little accident, you know? I think that that would be actually a pretty fun coaster. A pretty fun element that kind of have this pop there and then a little bit of a... Okay, so I can delete them. See? I'm liking this system a little bit more every single time I do a little bit more with it. Okay, so let's see if maybe I can curve it just a tiny bit more and smooth it out just a little bit, just so that it's a little bit more like an actual elements. I want it to be like a kind of like nice smooth descent. I don't like how high the peak is. It's my biggest issue. Let's maybe spread this out a little bit. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so you'd curve in, and then let's make it so this actually curves this way. And so you'd curve in, and then you'd curve in this direction. And you want to delete that, and then you'd... What noodle? Gosh. I should really stop trying to fix it, shouldn't I? That's the problem. I'm just trying to fix it and it's not doing what I want it to. Okay. 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 Please don't ruin it. Come on. Come on. It's almost there. It's really almost there. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're done. We're done. We're done with that. We're done with that. I'm not touching it anymore. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's just do a normal drop here. It's nothing crazy. We're gonna be just fine right here. Okay. Nice and smooth. We just went through that crazy element, so we're going to go nice and smooth here. Smooth, gentle curves. So that people don't vomit all over my beautiful little park. Gonna smooth and gentle. And then I think we need to do something a little bit more fun now. So let's do, I am a big fan of, what direction is this facing? Okay, I'm a big fan of, are we upside down right now? Oh yeah, we are. How long have we been upside down for? How did I do that? Yeah, support a bug. Yeah, your wet noodle design doesn't work. How long have we been upside down for? So right there. That's where we went upside down. We don't want to go upside down, actually. We want to stay right side up. Okay, so we're going to do a pretzel. I've always liked a good pretzel ever since I went on the Incredible Hulk at Universal Studios. So we're gonna see if we can do a pretzel. And I'm not really referencing anything to do this, nor do I think that the ride at Universal really is a pretzel. that the Incredible Hulk actually is a pretzel element, but I don't know. I'll flash it up screen just so you guys can take a look at what that is. It's not. I know it's not, but you know, I like a pretzel anyway. So what in the world is that little curve there? Gosh, the auto. They must. You must have to turn off the auto curve. Let's try it. See what happens there. I don't really know. Okay, well, this isn't really a pretzel, but you know, we're gonna do the old Bob Rossian again. Happy accidents. That's what the name of this coaster is gonna be. I've determined it's just gonna be one big happy accident. I do like this. This is kind of fun. This like swoop around through here. Okay, how much of this space have we used? Okay, I think I'm good there actually. Let's go ahead and curve it so that it comes into the station somewhat happily. Oh, we need to add a launch section here because that's what we wanted to do. So let's do that. How fast do we want it to go? Not too fast. Probably like 35. Let's do 35. Okay, let's try her out. It's going to launch up that hill at a steady 35 miles an hour and peek over. And whoa! Oh my gosh, that looks awful. Oh, ow, ow, oh, ow, ow. Oh, okay. Well, you know, that was fun. I'm going to call it there. We'll come back to this later, and maybe we'll start over. Maybe we'll try and tweak it. I don't know, but I'll catch y'all the next time. Bye.